Hello, today we are going to work a few minutes on how to find the slope of a line. So the slope of a line is if you have a graph and this is your coordinates, your axes, your line is how we look at it. We always read left to right. And so we're looking to see, is our slope going uphill or downhill or walking flat? And we can calculate that by hand. I'm also going to show you using some technology. So our slope between 2 points, we have 2 points, point 1 and point 2, and their coordinates are x1, y1, x2, y2. Our slope is defined as the rise over the run, or we also call it the change of y over the change of x. So this symbol here is a delta symbol in Greek letters. And we usually give it the letter m when we're writing a linear equation. And I'm going to show you how to calculate the slope for 4 different sets of points so that you can see a couple different outcomes. So this is going to be my x1, y1, and my x2, y2. And it really doesn't matter which one you start with as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to start with y2, so 4 subtracting 2 over a negative 3 subtracting a negative 1. And now make sure that you notice that this is a negative, subtracting a negative, so that becomes a positive. So 4 subtracting 2 is 2 over 3 adding 1. So this becomes 2 over a negative 2. A negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 1. Okay. Now, on the next one, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to do, this is my x1, y1, my x2, y2. I'm going to start with my y1 this time. So I'm going to say 3 subtracting 4 over a negative 5 subtracting 9. If you turn your paper sideways, this should be my x and y, and it is a negative 5 and 3. And this should be my x and y, 9 and 4, and it is. So your coordinate needs to line up on top of each other, just like we did up here, negative 3 and 4, and a negative 1 and 2. So 3 subtracting 4 is a negative 1, a negative 5 subtracting 9 is a negative 14, and a negative over a negative is a positive. So my slope is 1 over 14. My slope up here was a 2 over a negative 2, which reduces to a negative 1. Okay, the next one, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm going to take my 4 and subtract the negative 1 over 2 subtracting 2. So this becomes 4 plus 1 over 0. And it looks like whenever we have a 0 in the denominator, this fraction is actually considered undefined. So I'm going to show you in Desmos here in a minute what that looks like in a picture. The last one I want to calculate is this one here. x1, y1, x2, y2. And we will have a negative 2 subtracting a negative 2 over 4 subtracting 3, which becomes a negative 2 plus 2 over 1, and that becomes 0 over 1. And whenever we have a 0 in the denominator, we have a slope of 0. So if you have not already gotten yourself a Desmos account, I'm encouraging you to do so. And I am going to take you to that website right here, desmos.com. Choose the graphing calculator. And you can go here and get yourself an account. You can see my account is pulled up. It does amazing things. And so I want to show you, while we're doing it symbolically on our paper, I want to show you what this looks like visually, because I think it'll help your learning. So if we want to put, you can do any calculation you want in any of these rows. If you go to this plus button right here, I am going to click on table, and I'm going to put in the 2 coordinate points. So the very first set that we did, let me put that here. So I'm going to put in the points. This is good. If you want to write something, a note for yourself, you can click on note, and that's what I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in the coordinates a -1 and 2. And then, and the -3 and 4. So find the slope. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in those points. So a -1 goes here, and then that y goes over here. So 2. And then we have a -3 and 4. Okay. So to find the slope, we're actually going to have Desmos find the equation of the line. And when it does that, it finds the slope at the same time. We, by all means, could tell Desmos the formula, but that we did on paper, but I'm going to show you this. This is going to be helpful through the rest of your algebra career here. So I want you to type a Y1, just put Y1. Oops. We're going to reference, actually, we're going to reference our table says X2, Y2. So we have to say Y2. So I'm going to say Y2, and then you're going to use this thing called the tilde symbol. It is next to your 1 key, so you have to hit shift and that. I'm going to write that up here, using Y1 tilde, so you can see what it looks like. MX1 plus B. That's what we're going to type in down here. But I'm going to use 2 because my numbers are 2. Your table might come up with a 1. So whatever your table says here, that's what you have to reference. So, and I'm going to do MX2 then plus B. And now look at a line just appeared on my Desmos, which is so cool. And you can see that the M, notice the M right here in our equation where I have my mouse here, it says parameters, M is our slope. So it created, calculated the slope for us just like we did on paper. So using Desmos can help you check your work. So you can save this. If you click save and just put slope of 2 points, then you can go back to this and just put in your 2 points, and it will automatically, if you leave this little command, this equation here that I'm highlighting, if you leave this in under this little saved graph, you can just go edit your 2 points anytime you want, and it will give you the new slope. Now I'm going to show you how we did it by hand. So we actually made a fraction. So right here, I'm going to do the fraction that we did. We did 4 minus 2, and I'm going to put it in parentheses because of order of operations. I have to do that so that I can then say divide, and then I can put, it was a -3 subtracting a -1. So this is how we did it by hand, and we got a -1, but Desmos will calculate it for you using this equation right here. It's so cool. Okay, so let's put in the second set of points that we did. I'm just going to go up here and edit those. So we had a -5 and 3, and then 9 and 4. And then you're probably saying, what happened to our line? So I have to, I'm gonna go over here to the right where it has a plus and minus. I'm gonna do a minus so I can go back out and see my graph again. And I like to see it where I can see the 0 and the, my origin right here where my mouse is. I'd like to be able to see the graph there. So you can see that this time our graph is going upward. It's a positive slope. And you can see that M says 0.07, but we actually got a fraction. So let's put the fraction that we had gotten on our paper. We had gotten 1/14, and it does simplify to the same decimal that Desmos came up with. So Desmos will always give you the decimal answer so you can check your work that way. Okay, let's now go ahead and put in our our points on the third one that we did. The third one was 2 and a -1. And then we had, I used 4 a lot, didn't I? 2 and 4. Okay, so this one, oh, oops, I want to go back and have it there. So notice that 2 and a -1 and 2 and 4, it doesn't calculate my slope. It says M is 0.75, but that's not really true. That's not the equation that it's coming up with. You can see that it just plots those 2 points here, and it can't actually draw a line at those because my slope is undefined. So let's put in the last set of points. We had 3 and 2. Oh, no, 3 and -2. And then we had 4 and a -2. And now this one has a slope of 0, M equals 0. Okay, this is called a horizontal line when it has a slope of 0. So that's a little bit on slope. And let me know if you have any questions.